Maybe movies.
So where's your gold star?
It's right here, mate.
Oh! I can't really barely tell. I was just bragging about how well my two stars are.
Yeah, it's alright for some.
It goes well with black, I think.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes,
come
it does. Yes, matching.
I know. I like the fact. I love the vertical approach.
Well, yes, thank you. Bit different. Eventually he might be able to do that, but you know. Oh no.
Good, whatever it is where you are. Hello, and welcome back to Maybe Movies. My name is Max, and I am a 2-star movie Imagineer.
I'm Sam, and I'm just a 1-star Imagineer.
I'm Chris, and I'm a 2-star filmmaker.
He is as well.
If it was a hotel, 2-star.
You'd be quite safe, but you may need to kick the prostitutes out afterwards.
Okay.
Moving on.
Indeed.
So, thank you for joining us again, and we will be very briefly, very shortly, launching into Act 2 of Fear and I.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you to all of our new supporters and our new subscribers as well. You are very, very welcome. And the light is still on, so I'm assuming we are going in the right direction.
Well, let's hope.
Yes.
Speaking of Kickstarters and things like that, a big, huge thank you to everyone that took the time to like, share, or get involved with the Kickstarter for Apocryphal. We managed to meet our goal, so the movie's happening, and sometime soonish, hopefully, you'll see me in something new. I'll tell you all about it when I know something myself. But once again, thanks all to everyone who got involved. Did I catch you at a bad moment?
No. I mean, so many have gone already. I mean, where have they gone?
I'll tell you where they've gone. Right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
It may only be 1 star, but it shines all the brighter for it.
Shines bright like a diamond.
Oh. Ooh. Is that going to get us into trouble?
I know what the nasty YouTube people are like, yeah.
We'll find out. We are launching into Act 2 of Fear and I. Oh, by the way, very interesting, just complete aside, there is one point in the film, if you look really carefully, that you do discover that I's name is Marwood. It's when he gives Withnell the telegram, and he's holding the telegram up, and he's got the envelope that it comes in. Mm-hmm. It's upside down, but it's addressed to Marwood.
Didn't actually know that.
No. Oh, my TV screen is too small. I didn't notice those details.
Just like the star.
Oh, you are just not going to give that up, are you?
Aha! See if you can hate us.
It's on, buddy.
Yeah.
So we've got our 2 fellows in their hired Aston Martin DB5, and they are heading off to Crow Crag. Perfectly appropriate to have Jimmy playing as they're bobbing up the highway, although we do lose scrubbers.
Oh yeah, what would be their response? What would be their culturally appropriate shout? Because you'd have to give the shout.
Of course. Is it too soon for jailbait?
Yes, no, jailbait. Jailbait, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect.
Fuck off, Grandad! Not you. But yeah, that will work the same. And again, with the rain and everything, getting lost on the journey. Are we saying that they're heading out reasonably straight?
I disagree. I don't think they'd head out straight. They've just bought a buttload of drugs from Danny Boy.
For the week, yeah.
For the week. They're going to be taking something.
Okay. Which again will give us the driving up the wrong way.
Yeah.
I like that idea, yeah.
Yeah.
They're so high that they're driving on the wrong side. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And they eventually reach Crow Crag. I suppose we would do the same thing again. They kind of swing in and crash the car.
Of course.
So he gets stuck.
No, absolutely. This is totally what Duke and Gonzo would do.
I wanted to ask about that as well, because my other thought with this is they are Americans. Americans from the 60s, they live in their cars.
Yes.
So it's perfect to do it because it means that they are forced to walk.
Yes.
So we're looking at getting into the cottage and building the fire, I suppose?
Which I think it's going to play the same. I think it's on rails that way.
Because they're not used to the cold. I mean, would there be a lot more of the furniture? Would they get to the point where they even break up the table as well?
I see what you're saying, although you are just changing the situation,
How's that?
making it more cold. Why would it be more cold?
I mean, it's just cold for them because they're...
Oh, because they're used to desert conditions.
Yes.
Good point.
Could they chop up the table and put it in the fire? And
Yes, they
things
would.
what it
They
always
totally
destroy
would.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make the whole place a mess in the cottage or something like
In
that.
I
the
was going to
same
say,
way-
those boys are animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is their hotel room for the rest of the week, so it's going
Yeah,
to be...
you were right. You are right. Yeah, that's...
As an overriding thing from this point onwards for while they're at the cottage, because they are going to be taking quite a wonderful kaleidoscope of drugs. Whereas in Fear and Loathing, they have all the glitz and the glamour and the bright lights and the mod cons of early 70s America
Yes.
to heighten their experience. Here they don't. They're in a cabin. Oh, they're in a cottage.
They're in the
Without it-
muck and brown of English countryside.
Yes.
But fueled by drugs.
Yes. More train spotting than Fear and Loathing. So there's probably more of a chance of them having a bad trip.
I imagine them thinking they were going to get out into the green pastoral countryside of rolling hills and lawns and things like that, and they roll up into the mud and muck of Penrith, and all of their trips go south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, they've bought all of the tabs that Danny had. They're dropping some acid on this trip. But it's not green and lovely and buying lambs. It's randy bulls and muddy fields.
And rain.
Yeah.
Lots of rain.
Yeah, it would be the worst diner ever.
Would Duke complain about his clothes being all muddy, or
That was actually, I was just thinking that. I'm assuming they will have come not dressed for the occasion at all.
I was thinking
completely
that.
inappropriate? Sort
Yeah.
of
Because they're dressed inappropriately for where they are in the desert.
Yeah.
And this would be even more so. Yeah, I think so. They would just be clueless Americans dressing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the end of the summer. It's fine. I'll wear shorts and a rain jacket.
Could it gradually get worse? Like they have to get new clothes.
Oh,
try
yes.
to match, and it actually just gets more ridiculous as it goes on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
They start with some mud around their knees, and it kind of just grows up around them as they go along.
They'd still have the plastic bags taped around their boots because their boots are basically sneakers or trainers or whatever.
Yeah.
They'd have them all the time, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And they'd just shoot these tied round plastic bags, and then the shorts, and then the rain jacket flapping around his waist.
It's like the holiday from hell.
Yeah.
What do I imagine then? Because I know there's at some point Gonzo turns up in he's wearing it's almost like a duvet cover or something, isn't he?
It's a robe, wasn't it?
It's like a robe, that massive robe.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you imagine he's kind of stitched one together out of bin bags or something.
Yeah,
that he's
yeah,
just wearing
yeah.
to keep warm. So I imagine Duke going out then the next day in the same way that Marwood does, and he kind of marvels at the sea. But in this case, he's just out and he's just wandering, and that's how he stumbles across the farmer's cottage.
Yes.
But again, if you want to do it this way, we can replace the fly swatter with a stick, and you can just be wandering through the country going, again, that's stuff
Anything
that's not
you
there.
can find, yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So we'd have, at some point during their arrival, Gonzo would snatch the fly swatter away from him, and he has to pick up a stick and start swatting at his imaginary bats and things. Yeah.
Are we saying then that generally speaking, everything is going to run through up until they hear the farmer come past? I mean, the only scenes that I really had were kind of their arrival and then when they go to the crown.
The bit with the chicken. I think we need to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Because these aren't English guys. Now, Duke, being Hunter, he's probably okay with killing that chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzo being able to deal with the other parts.
I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought it'd be like Gonzo would have no problem killing the chicken.
But right.
Duke would actually.
I don't think either of them have any problem with killing the chicken, because I know Hunter S. Thompson as himself he loved his guns.
Chicken killer.
Oh,
He was notorious for killing chickens.
Sorry, I was going to give you 5 karma there, but that's something completely different.
Wrong game.
Yes, but no, he loved his guns.
Mm.
So I don't think he'd have a problem killing the chicken. But yeah, it's a question of who's going to...
What, to shoot the chicken, kill it?
I think, because if they found the gun by this point... Oh no, they don't find it till after though, do they?
No, they don't.
Damn.
So would they want to do
it's
it?
when he's cleaning out the guts that he finds the gun.
Yeah.
So would they do the chop then?
But that's what I mean. I don't think Raoul Duke is squeamish. I think he just, alright, I'll lop the head off, you take out the guts. Oh.
He's not squeamish, but he does kind of shy away from...
So maybe he's like, I'll kill the chicken, you got to take the guts out. But Dr. Gonzo's like, he's on a downer at this point, and he's taking the guts out of a chicken. And he does that thing when he starts doing that weird wobbling sort of child scream, doesn't he? And he flings his arms about. And
so you're saying Gonzo wouldn't do it?
saying Gonzo would be made to do it, then in the middle would start to freak out because of what he's on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Like flailing about like a child, and he's going to start flinging the guts about and stuff, and it's just going to get everywhere.
Will there be a moment where they chase the chicken literally as it's running around, and that's what causes maybe havoc in that cottage and feathers about?
Oh, that's a good call.
Are they tripping though? Are they on drugs? Or any substances at this point?
They have got so many drugs at this point.
Yeah,
because that could be weird if they eventually chop the head off and the chicken still runs around. They could be tripping on that.
The chicken suddenly becomes the focus.
Yeah.
So that works
it's
perfectly.
A third character.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I can imagine like a lot of the head, and it's like you see the chicken run, and this little gout of blood from its neck, sort of thing, and run. But as it runs, in his vision, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's as big as them, running around, wrecking the kitchen,
terrifying,
spraying blood everywhere, and in their heads, that's the excuse for why the kitchen got trashed. But it's actually them just going fucking mental about this chicken.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? I can picture it in my head.
Come on, guys!
Go on.
Yes!
You're one of us now.
One of us.
One up. No. For now. Yeah. But I was going to say, I like the idea that when he's kind of flinging bits and pieces all over the place, like some of the giblets fly out and hit that picture of Monty on the wall.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a
nice
good idea.
touch. Yes.
So it's just like, so there's just a smear of it there when Monty finally arrives.
Yes.
Brilliant. So they've killed the chicken.
Yes.
Open the oven. It's probably not just their shoes. It's probably all their clothes are in the oven to dry.
Of course, baking away.
And again, we can translate the scene where Wisnor calls his agent to Raoul Duke calling the magazine to get an update or to let them know that they are on site and they're doing whatever.
Would he be like bitching and moaning about things that have been happening prior to that, or to his agent, or
probably?
Yeah. But they hang up on him in the scene, so they would hang up. He'd just start bitching and moaning, and they're just like,
Yeah.
Shit, you son of a bitch, you goddamn bastard.
And also probably not used to paying for anything because it's normally like somebody will bring them a phone and he'll talk and that's it.
It's all serviced, yeah.
Which again will lead us back into the bull.
See, I don't know. I think the bull bit's probably going to go the same way.
The only thing that I was going to add to that is again if they are tripping their tits off at that moment when he throws all the stuff up and chases after the bull and the bull runs away.
Yeah.
Possibly starts thinking about what Monty was saying about the wonderful form of a carrot, the young carrot, and he's just thrown carrots all over
so like
through
as
his life.
this little lark, he does that.
Yes.
I personally, my next scene is in the pub.
That's what I've got as well. You good?
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other scenes before that?
No, I was just going to say, if I was thinking about the bull scene, it would have just been a lot more comical and comedic throughout the whole thing. I mean, and probably longer, as I would probably, than the original scene.
Oh, right, yeah. No, there was a lot more that they could have milked out of that scene.
Whereas it's quite straight for what it was doing, but I can imagine if Duke or was involved in it, would be a lot more silly, slapstick almost. But
I mean, that was one thing that that's the only thing about so far that I've suddenly thought, would we lose that scene? Because the reason they go to the Crown is because obviously Withnail has been there before. So are we then just assuming that...
What makes you think he's been there before?
Because in the scene with the bull, after the whole thing and the bull runs away, Withnail says almost to himself, I think a night at the Crown. So he is aware of the pub.
Oh, right.
So
yes,
he
good
must,
point.
he
Yes.
must have been there before.
Yes.
These guys possibly never have, so they may not know about it. So we may actually lose that scene.
Well, no, because it's the pub. It's the only light on the mountain.
So that's brilliant. So we can do that as So maybe the night before, while they're getting everything set up, they spot a light in the distance, and they're like, they want to go and see what that is because they're off their tree, and they go, right, let's go for a stomp and see what's over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, what have you got for this?
Well, I mean, for starters, of course, things like the details of their story would change. Withnail said he did time in Ireland, whereas Duke would be like Vietnam.
I suppose this as well, to a degree, will add to that very kind of downer aspect of their trip. Both.
Yeah.
Because, well, they go to the pub, they're going to go and see people, and it's the most morose place that you could possibly go.
Oh, yeah. They're just hugging their pint all night, sitting in front of the fire like, oh, fuck this. How cold is this place?
If they thought that the Greasy Spoon was like a third world country, I mean, this is like you expect them to say, we're going to go up to the castle after dark.
Yeah,
it's almost that bad, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, of course, Jake arrives.
Yes.
And this is where I think it's going to be different, because you're going to see the attitude of a poacher. And traditionally, poachers never dealt in cash. That interaction, I've got nothing to sell you, was a true thing. They wouldn't deal in cash. They was always in barter.
Of course. And
of course, these two Americans are going to try and buy a fucking eel or a fucking pheasant, and they'll insist. You know, Dr. Gonzo will be like, he'll be muttering something about a verbal contract, trying to trick him into admitting that he's got something and that he'd be willing to share it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
I like that. Again, as I said, I think I did put down, it's another chance from the narrator's point of view of introspection for Duke. So we might get, again, how, as an outsider, we might get some of his thoughts about the death of the decade.
Oh, absolutely.
In this environment.
I think he'd have this narrative that would be like a reflection of what he was talking about the Dream of America. And he'd be talking about how the Dream of America shaped this land. But when you get really deep into the land, that dream doesn't exist. It's not there for people, and it would be like the difference between the country and the city and how people dream differently. It's kind of like, oddly enough, this is a bit of a tangent, I will put it in, but it's kind of like how I found working, I used to work in hospitality, and working in a number of country house hotels. And it's like you are selling people on this idea of staying in a country house hotel to try and get a little bit of a sliver of the opulence of what it must have been like to live in this place. But the reality doesn't even compare to what it must have been like to have ownership of that place.
Of course, yeah.
And it's all a fallacy.
It being your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's echoes of it in this.
Okay. I like that. But yeah.
False appetite.
Yeah, lamentation, yeah.
And I think this will be a moment where we see it again, similar to the scene in the cafe with the waitress. He won't do anything. Because there's that, again, this is what I was saying last week about there are times when Duke is afraid of Gonzo and what he's going to do. And he just clams up and doesn't do anything.
Yes. He's just an observer.
Yeah. Although I did think there may be more of a kindred spirit with Raymond, with the barman. Because they're all old lushes.
Yes, but if he did, I'd imagine him going a little bit far with the stories. They'd become increasingly unbelievable as he goes through the evening.
Yes. Yeah. What are we going to put in place of I'm going to be a star?
Fuck you, England, I'm bigger than you are.
From who? From Gonzo?
Seems to suit better when it's Gonzo, actually.
It's a scream of defiance into the dark.
Cool. So I don't know if I'd skipped over there. How are we saying that I take it the scene with Jake is going to resolve itself as it does?
Yes, more or less. Yeah,
Happy
there would
with
be
that?
an initial, like, really intense confrontation, and then eventually it would sort of back down to him, like, maybe I'll come round with a rabbit. I don't want a rabbit.
I want a T-bone steak.
Oh, yes.
Which is, again, brings us up to Monty's arrival.
It will run on rails. There'll be different rails from this, because the fear won't be there. It'll be more like he's coming for us and I've got the shotgun. And gathering forces rather than I'm afraid.
I'm not sure. I'd have gone the other way.
Right.
I'd have gone the other way that they've been here for a couple of days now, and there's a kind of a monotony building in. Everything is kind of running on this level. It's raining. Everything's a bit weird. Again, they don't have all of the mod cons that they used to, and this is what they've got for the week. And it's kind of getting to the point where that's starting to set in. That despair is trying to set in. Their trips aren't going the way that they wanted to, so that allows the fear in. So the moment something odd happens, that would heighten the fear.
Dr. Gonzo gets a moment of paranoia, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
More
Right.
fear then, so it's not actually from the drugs itself.
It's from the fact that their settings are not conducive to what they're used to when they are in that state.
Yeah. They're used to the states, they're used to the easygoing, all of the rest, and it's not
This-
there. It's
And you've, as Danny quietly says, you've done something to your brain.
yes, indeed, you have. You
Yeah.
have made it high.
And now something weird is happening. And they know that there's a prowler about. Possibly earlier in the evening, when they were all a bit more G'd up after having a few beers. Yeah. But they're not at that point now. They're starting to come down. And Monty appears, oh, my beautiful boys, and then leaves. And
Indeed.
we go into Act 3.
Okay, yeah.
Like with Fear and Loathing, that they have a particular soundtrack. By soundtrack, it's just a song, really. It just plays in the background during certain scenes. Would there be a song that plays when Monty arrives?
Ooh.
White Rabbit.
Could possibly be White Rabbit.
When the White Rabbit peaks.
But would it?
I'm
Would it not play in the bathtub bit though?
gone past that bit. But this is an appropriate moment for, in terms of the beats of the story.
Like the paranoia peaks as the
Oh,
song is.
right. Yeah.
It sounds like a gold star to me. You are the deciding vote.
Alright.
Ah, yes! I win. Aye.
No.
Take
I'm
the
a
cards
3-star
now,
general, sir.
We'll get there.
There's still plenty of time. At some point, we're going to have to decide what, at the end, if whoever has the most stars has to. Do they have to do a turn?
A turn on the dance floor. You do your little turn on the dance floor.
Oh, no.
Would there be a prize or?
Don't. I'm not buying prizes.
Oh.
With what? Where can I go to the shop? We're stuck here.
Oh.
We have to hope that whoever's in charge will deliver us something interesting. Something sweet to eat. But that's not yet. We're not in spooky season just yet.
Not quite.
This is so much harder with 3 people. This is exploratory imagineering.
Good choice of words.
Okay, so we are up to the end of Act 2 of Fear and I, and we will be back next Wednesday with Act 3, when things really started to go wrong.
Indeed.
All right, if we go off what you said before about Act 3 being how you rise to the challenge.
Yes. What?
Allow me to say that no drugs were taken in the making of this production.
I can't promise that.
And on that bombshell, I'm not Jeremy Clarkson.
And I'm Sam Terry.
No, you're not! Bye. TTFN, guys.
Ba 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 ba.